30 points. You also get a lap for leading a point for leading the race. You get a point for being on the pole. That, of course, went to Pickett. And there's a bonus point that goes to the man who leads the most laps. 33 maximum points in any given race day, equaling his car number. He was 9 behind coming in, and the man he's chasing right in front of him.
And you can see he is closing up on Jack Baldwin. This is going to be a great fight in about one more lap.
Well, here's the former NFL star, currently in 13th place. 34, the car number. You remember the jersey number with the Chicago Bears, Walter Payton, who had his best career finish in the last race at Elkhart Lake when he was 8th. He's currently running in 13th.
Interesting. I asked Walter about the physical differences between driving a racing car and a football. He said it's no big deal. I train now in the sauna, and he said long distance races like this compared to a short, sharp burst of football doesn't faze him one bit.
The NFL's all-time leading rusher enjoying his new career in automotive racing. He's in Trans Am competition. Now let's go back up front. Here's Greg Pickett. Pickett is the man of the moment. He's done a terrific job. Relinquished that place at the moment in Mid-Ohio, and here come the teammates. It's Sharpe on the inside with a challenge now. He has the line coming to the corner, and for the first time today, he's now in front of Jack Baldwin. Baldwin tucks right back in off the rear spoiler, but Baldwin now finds himself in 5th place. Sharpe has moved to 4th. 9 points separating the two coming into the action today, and an opportunity for Sharpe to cut into that 9-point deficit just a bit. For the first time, he has now moved in front of his teammate. So what's the feeling? Oh, here's Robinson off course. George Robinson, who had been running in 7th place in car number 74, is off course and apparently out of the competition. So let's get back to that battle now for 4th place in the championship. We've got a car. One of the Archers got sideways back there. Bobby Archer at number 32.
My word.
My goodness, that was a moment there as we were keeping an eye on the battle for 4th place involving Sharpe and Baldwin. Sharpe continues to hold the 4th spot, and Baldwin is 5th.
And Bobby Archer was actually lapping one of the back markers. He went outside him on the front straight here onto the grass and had the car well sideways. So luckily he got away with it.
See if we can get a look here now as he was passing the 82 car of Dick Greer, I believe.
Here it is. Now Bobby Archer decides to go around the outside. Look at this. No room. Oh, Dick Greer did not see him, obviously. And Archer goes grass cutting down the outside. Here's a look at the pass that Sharpe put on Baldwin earlier. Now it's so difficult for Baldwin to block him here, and fair play to him. He's no defensive driving. He keeps his normal braking line, and Sharpe slides down the inside. And from here on in, there's nothing Baldwin can do.
Now you talk about the fact, team orders, you just race each man for himself. Both men love it. They say that, well, a little bumping is okay, but you don't take anybody out of the competition. Greg Pickett, meanwhile, continues to hold the top spot, and boy, has he put in a dominant run. You have to look back now for Greg Pickett. The last time he won in Trans Am competition 3 years ago, 1989 in Detroit, and you saw the graphic that he won here on this circuit 6 years ago. This is a man who has 14 career Trans Am wins, and he's got a new chassis in the last couple of races, Derek, that seems to be really paying off.
That is a major key to his recent success. The Riley Scott chassis built in Indianapolis. Bob Riley, of course, so well known for the designs of these type of cars, come up with a very good one, and he has been so good ever since. And we mentioned earlier he went to a smaller engine for this weekend, a 310 cubic inch, which allows him to run 100 pounds softer. Of course, a lighter car could use softer tires. He is on the softest package here, looks after his tires well, and he has everything well in hand this afternoon.
It's been almost a flawless performance. He lost from the pole position in the early laps. We mentioned that Baldwin was the early leader, and then suddenly he came right back. Ooh, traffic right now trying to get around Lynn Connor. The 77 car didn't know which way to go for a moment, but he makes the pass cunningly. Now let's go to the pits and Jan Beekes.
Well, Gary, as you talked about, Greg Pickett really loves that new car, but he also attributes much of the success to Dave King, who helped him set it up. Now, you're visiting, you usually work on a GTP team, but you've helped him get that car dialed.
Yeah, we just come down. Greg's an old friend, so we decided to drive down, take the 3 hours from Detroit, and come see if we could give him a hand this weekend.
You were at the last race, too, and all of a sudden that car was really running. Now, what are the kind of tricks and secrets you were able to give him?
I have some experience in Trans Am, so I'm able to give him a little hand and direction in that matter.
Well, Gary, I think that's a little bit of an understatement. Gary?
Well, everybody agrees Dave masterful job helping this team get back on track, and it's certainly reflected in the effort that Greg Pickett is enjoying here as he opens up a 3-second lead right now over Tommy Archer.
We have to remember, it's not too long ago, the last race, in fact, Elkhart Lake, just after Greg Pickett took the lead and looked very strong, he had a mechanical failure, and it all came to 0.
Now let's go back and check on a battle in the pack. This is for 8th place. Car number 40, Jim Durhog, and car number 60, Dick Danielson. The 95 car, James Moyer out of Kokomo, Indiana. Not a factor at the moment as we keep an eye on these two guys. They have been kind of bird dogging each other for a spell, both in the top 10. Durhog racing in 8th place, and Danielson in the number 9 spot. Now just about 4 car lengths back.
And that's what you get. Personal battles all the way down through this field. This has been going on for lap after lap. They don't really care what's going on at the head of the field. They have their own little personal battle and duel going on here.
You know, on a very busy circuit such as this Mid-Ohio course with 15 turns, you're constantly going through a variety of corners, and so there's great opportunities. You may drop back 4, 5, 6 car lengths, but the slightest bobble puts you right back up against the rear bumper and in a position to challenge once again. And that's what these two have been doing through much of the afternoon.
And this could be the leading group. Look, they're only separated by 2 or 3 car lengths, so a very private battle here. And when it's over, if they can stay in the position they are, they will be very happy with their afternoon's work.
Now Paul Gentilozzi in car number 75 getting through some traffic. He makes the pass on the 39 car of Craig Schaefer. Gentilozzi continues to run in 3rd place. You see the separation back to the 33 car. That's Scott Sharpe in 4th, and the blue car right behind him in 5th is Jack Baldwin. So those 3 are starting to tighten up just a little bit. It looked like Gentilozzi had some muscle early. It might be a force coming to the front, but it's stabilized as he holds the number 3 position in car 75.
And you can clearly see Scott Sharpe is inching ever closer with every lap to Paul Gentilozzi. This is the favorite outbreaking maneuver here. Paul Gentilozzi, though, is a long-time competitor here. Unusual line there for Gentilozzi. Very wide on the right side of the racetrack, but he knows Scott Sharpe is on the way.
Eric, I can't help but wonder, you would think that Paul Gentilozzi might be a little bit race rusty, not having competed in Trans Am since Portland, but that does not appear to be the case today.
No, and remember, Paul Gentilozzi owns Rocket Sports, his own racing team. They run the IMSA GTS series, so he is not race rusty at all, and he does a lot of testing. In fact, has tested here at Mid-Ohio in this car.
He's a 2-time career winner. We mentioned the victory at Portland this year. He won on the streets of Long Beach in 1988. He's in the 75 car, currently in 3rd place, and you can see that the relentless young defending Trans Am champion Scott Sharpe is inching his way closer. He's not gaining that much on Baldwin, but if he can gain 1 more position and gain a couple of more precious points in this championship battle going to the season ender at Sears Point, that would be a huge gain. Now again, let's go to Jan Beekes in the pits.
Well, talking about that battle with Paul Gentilozzi and also with Scott Sharpe, Paul told me earlier today, he said, I wish I would have chosen the same tires that Scott Sharpe has. I think that's probably the way to go. That's the very same thing that his teammate, Jack Baldwin, told me. So he thinks the tires are going to be the right choice in hindsight due to the weather that we have here. Also, Jack Baldwin, we found out, is dropping back because he has to save fuel.